Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising in Venus, welcome to Warriors of Light Astro Tarot. I'm David. We're doing your heart spread reading. This is a love, romance, and relationship reading. This is for the mid-May time frame, and I'm doing it on the 10th, so officially Mercury goes retrograde in your sign today at 4 degrees Gemini. Definitely going to have meaning for you. I'd also point out we have Jupiter also today at 0 degrees Aries, and you do have Venus in Aries. And that energy, by the way, is sextile to you. I'm a Sag, it's trining me. So that's some really good energy for the next few weeks, the next few months with Jupiter, and the next few weeks with Venus, and that could be relevant to love. And it could come into play in this retrograde. I do see the retrograde here. I'll explain. I wouldn't call this exactly a retrograde reading, but I can see where it's coming into play. So let me begin. You're coming in with your energy being the World card here, the final major arcana. That's where you're at in terms of love, romance, and relationship. And your person's coming in with the King of Swords. This is whoever's on your mind, whoever you're thinking of, whoever you're in a relationship with. If you're single, this could be a predictive read, and this is the person that you're going to meet in this mid-May time frame here. So I like the way that these two relate, someone with the World, this is a Gemini, probably a little bit older, someone who's substantial. It could also speak to someone who's graduated from college or achieved something in their degree, so has begun this new cycle in your life, but also with them being the King of Swords, this is someone who's substantial. So this is very good energy. Your energy's meeting their energy very well out of the chute here. And I'd like to see both of these as kind of getting a baseline as to just where you guys are at on your own. And by the way, using the Ethereal Visions of Illuminated Tarot, if you give it on. Now, this is also very interesting because this is your energy towards your person, the Ten of Pentacles. Now, why it's interesting, the Ten of Pentacles in the World can kind of be seen as the same energy. So really good. And if they're making you feel like you're in Ten of Pentacles energy, then that's great, and then you're giving them this Ace of Wands feeling. And, see, that can be kind of a phallus. It's very sexual. So if there was any doubt, and I kind of doubt there would be with this reading, you turn them on. I mean, you really turn them on. And you could see that they're a little bit aloof in their personality. It could also be an air sign. Aquarius mostly comes to mind, which would suit you well by Sun. But, when it comes to you, they probably lighten up, Like if someone were to see them around you and kind of know them, they would see it, They would go, this King of Swords is a different kind of animal when they're around this Gemini over here. So you just kind of light them up. Again, very positive. And if you're feeling substantial with this Ten of Pentacles and you're coming in as the World, another thing that I get from this, they absolutely take nothing away from you. So you're around them, you're able to be 100% yourself. And at the same time, they really turn you on. So this is a very positive reading. Now, where I see the retrograde energy coming in, guys, down here we have, this is advice from Spirit for the best way for you to react to them in the relationship, or what you need to do in the relationship. And this is the advice for them, what to do in the relationship. And I always like to say I don't necessarily trust myself. I never trust the fucking government, but I always trust Spirit. And this is Spirit's advice. And this is Spirit's advice for a relationship as a whole, and probably the most important card in this reading. And I think this is where the retrograde comes in, because really retrogrades, I think this stuff about the electronics and the romances is a lot of foop. Mercury's primarily our mind. There's a Gemini, you should know, and I'm a Virgo rising. Mercury's prominent for me, so really it's time where we go inward. And whereas normally with their mind, particularly Geminis, you might have a busy mind, and particularly if you don't get to be the World without doing a lot of work, So if you've been busy, you've been doing what you need to do. Even with Ten of Pentacles can imply you're not necessarily just sitting on your haunches. You're someone that has a life and you have to attend to it. But when the Mercury retrograde comes around, it takes a little bit away from that energy of getting out of ourselves, of running around and kind of getting out of our heads, and we tend to get stuck back in our heads, so that we can review things and kind of look at our own inner world. That's a lot what Mercury has to do with, my opinion, astrologer. It's about, how we have a relationship with ourselves within our own minds. It's an extremely private energy, that no one else is privy to virtually at all. And even many of us are not so much aware of that relationship, although we should be. And Mercury retrogrades, which are not infrequent, are very much designed, I believe, to help us to get into a more awareness of that inner relationship we have within our own mind. So both of you, apparently, as well as this is going, you're carrying over things. I think with the Nine of Wands for you, again, I said you're kind of a busy person, and your advice is, you have to kind of let go of something. Like, I would, a little bit different with this interpretation. There's wands or actions, so there's maybe one thing that you're gonna just flat out, and this might be where this Mercury retrograde comes too, gets you thinking about it. You're gonna kind of have to let go of it. Like, I don't know, it could be yoga class, it could be, because why, you have this relationship now, and here you have this Ace of Wands, so you have to give energy to this relationship, right? And that might be not sitting, something that's kind of difficult for you to do. And what they are being advised here is they have to face something emotional. I noticed, I don't really normally read the bottom of the deck, but I did see Justice on the bottom of the deck, so they could have a past marriage or past relationship that is still, again, this is where this Mercury retrograde could come in for them. It kind of gets them to thinking about it, and emotionally something that they sort of weren't dealing with. And it's not bad at all. It's just now maybe they're thinking like you're the one, and I think that's where we're going with the Four Wands. And so that's really got them thinking, like, about relationships, and there's a little bit of an emotional, a little bit of unfinished business that they have to attend to here. And this is interesting because now you have the Eight of Swords. This is for the relationship as a whole. So this really shows that both of you, the relationship is driving both of you to, in Eight of Swords, it just in and of itself could be said to be a Mercury retrograde energy. So it's driving both of you kind of inside of yourselves and causing you to kind of look at things. And coming underneath the Four Wands, I don't see it bad. It's necessary. I think I would love to see this reading, share this with your person, and use to maybe engender conversation, because I think that's what's necessary with the Eight of Swords. Is maybe you guys get together and maybe you haven't really discussed how serious you are about this relationship, and discuss how this budding relationship that you're having, that's moving towards, with the outcome being the Four of Swords, it's either a marriage or a long-term committed relationship, guys. And it's making you kind of have to deal with some of these internal things. Again, it's not bad. It's really healthy. It's really normal. If we're single, and particularly you, look, you've been really busy, and they don't get to be the King of Swords by sitting on their laurels either. So they've been busy too. And now that you're getting serious and you're thinking about this relationship here, both of you are in a position where you just need to kind of really go inside and review where you're at internally, and really, I think, in preparation here of a commitment that you guys are going to make to either a marriage or a long-term committed relationship. So that's it, guys. A pretty straightforward reading, really. And I appreciate it, Spirit. When I get a straightforward reading like that, it just tells me that it's a solid reading and something that somebody needs to hear. So do leave a comment. I always appreciate that, and I appreciate you liking and hearting and following, and particularly on YouTube now. Within like 20 subscriptions of 1,000, and then I can go live. I think that'd be a little more fun to do some live readings. So appreciate if you can follow me. Appreciate it, guys.